Hey everyone, welcome to Video Game Design 101. I'm Mr. Z, and this in front of me is Unreal Engine 4. It's one of the software we're going to be using in the class, and if you haven't already, what you need to do is create an Unreal Engine 4 account. So if you're using my computer's Unreal Engine 4 is already on there, but if you're watching this elsewhere, you'll need to download it from the internet, and it is free. All you need to do is go over to Google. I'm just accessing my Google right now. And you need to type in Unreal Engine 4. If you type that, you're going to have a screen that looks like this. And you could go to download Unreal Engine and then just download it for Windows, but it usually auto starts. So that just kind of saves you the time. So I'm going to kind of move that away. This is the Unreal Engine 4 interface. When you open it up for the first time, it's not going to quite look like this. There's going to be some project options and everything. But what I want you to do is just go over to the button that says File. Click on that. Go over to New Level. And then we're going to select the default level to start. It's going to ask you sometimes if you want to save, but if it does, for now, we don't need a save. And then it's going to give you a default level. So the default level looks like this. And usually the most important thing is just to understand how to move in this area. And this area here is called the viewport before we really do anything else. So if you zoom in and out with your scroll wheel, hopefully it should kind of zoom in and out. If you use the WASD keys, nothing should happen. But if you click and hold the left or the right mouse click, and then you use the WASD keys, you should notice that you're able to kind of like zoom around the stage. Okay, and I'm using the mouse and turning it so I can kind of turn in. Okay, you could also move if you're holding the left mouse button down. So I'm just holding the left mouse button and I'm not pressing any keys. You can zoom in and out by just moving the mouse forward or backwards, and that's with the left one. If you do it with the right one, you can kind of look up and down, but you can't like zoom to a position. So I'm just holding the right mouse click and I'm not clicking any of the keys on the keyboard. Okay, if you hold both of them, the left and the right, and you don't touch the keyboard, you're able to pan. So I'm able to pan right now, and that's just a different kind of movement. You can also throw in the keys, the WASD keys, to kind of pan, so you're still looking at the same position while moving across the stage. Okay, so those are the major ones, and I just want you to just practice moving around this stage over here. You can get out pretty far from it if you wanted to, but don't get out like too far, because then we'll have to kind of recenter, and sometimes that could be difficult. Okay, you'll see some other objects there. Don't worry about those. You could probably guess what those are for, but we will talk about them in more depth later. Okay, so this is your stage, like I mentioned before. This is a player start icon also. So if you wanted to play the default Unreal Engine 4 game, you could press this button up here, play, and it will essentially, it'll put you on the Unreal 4 engine stage with a default character and a default weapon that kind of just makes the ball bounce upward. And you could press that and it could fire it, and it's pretty cool. And you can walk around the stage also. Okay, so you can walk around the stage. Okay, now you can also jump off the stage, but I'm going to do this really quickly and I'll show you kind of why. So I'm going to jump off the stage, and you don't die, you just keep falling. Okay, so you're just falling and falling and falling, and you'll fall almost indefinitely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the escape key. Okay, and it escapes me out to the point where I was last. So I want you to get back up to the stage. So do the same thing I did and fall off the stage. And now I want you to get back up to that stage. Okay? You got to use those keys that I taught you. So if you want to move towards this, you got to hold down the left click or the right click. And then you got to use your WASD keys to kind of like move towards the object. And you can see that it's slowly getting bigger and bigger. And there's a reason why I didn't fall all the way down to the ground, because this would take kind of forever. Okay, so I'm just kind of moving back up to the object. Okay, I can try to pan it. Okay, you got to hold down those keys. Okay, so I'm like flying back here, all the way back up, and I'm holding the left and the right click And now I'm holding both to pan upwards like that. Okay, so I made it back to my stage, and that was pretty nifty. Okay, let's do something else. This here is the floor, the current floor that exists for our object, and I just left clicked it right there, and it's been selected. You can notice that it's been highlighted on the sides. I want you to press the delete key on the keyboard. That's going to remove it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in a new object. We're going to add in a geometry object. So on your side, you should hopefully have this button here that says geometry. I want you to click on that. And we're just going to put down something very basic to start. We're going to put down a box. So I want you to hold down on that box, and I want you to drag it over to the stage and let it go. Okay? And now I want you to kind of move around the object just to see where it is with respect to everything. It's kind of to the side over there. And if we start the game right now, so if I hit play, my character is just immediately going to fall. So I'm going to press escape real quick because I don't want to fall too far from the object. See how far I fell in that quick amount of time? Because the starting part wasn't, where I was at. So that box needs to be under my character. So I'm going to click on the box again. You're going to notice these arrows, and you're able to use these arrows to essentially move the box. Okay? And what I want you to do is use those directional keys and those arrows to make sure that the player has a start that is like below the player. You don't want to start in the object or else you'll get stuck. You want to start above the object. So just like that, and then you can press play, and if you did it correctly, you should hopefully be standing on that box object, and you'll be able to jump with the spacebar and everything and do that. But the second you fall off of it, you're gone forever. Whee! Okay, I'm going to press escape again. And I do want to point out that the reason you're not dying is because we haven't programmed any kind of death or anything. So you're not passing any points. This is just like the very, very basic beginning point of Video Game Design 101. Okay, so go ahead and do that. And once you've completed that, just go ahead and save it. And we will continue with some level manipulation in the next video. So I'll see you then. Peace.